Hello and welcome to another episode of the Investor Financing Podcast. I'm your host, Beau, and today we have a great show. We haven't talked about franchise concepts and home maintenance all in one today, so it's going to be a really good topic because many of you out there own lots of real estate and you know that you forget to change your filters and all the routine stuff that is overlooked, or if you're getting your house ready for sale and there's going to be a home inspector coming by, the more you regularly maintain your property is crucial. I've sold lots of properties and I can tell you it's very important to maintain the house, and not only from a resale standpoint, just a health standpoint, like what you're breathing in through your ducts and all that stuff. So please welcome Daniel. Daniel is the president and founder of Kura Home, and they do home maintenance. So we're going to kind of dive in how this all started, how this concept grew, and now what they're doing. And I think it's pretty awesome what you guys are doing, because it's like all the things that I don't want to do, you guys do for homeowners, which is cool, right? Because most of us are busy throughout the day. We just neglect, like, for example, I've been in my house for 2.5 years. I never changed my filters. I never changed my filters, and that's nasty. So please welcome to the show. This is going to be a great conversation about entrepreneurship, about, in general, just things you should be doing in your house, and then, building this franchise national. So it's going to be a great conversation. So welcome to the show, Daniel.
Yeah, thank you, Beau. That has to be one of the best sales pitches that I've ever heard for my company from someone that doesn't work for the company. So thank you. You have an awesome concept of what we've got going on.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is like a no-brainer, right? Like all the stuff that you don't want done, and also when you're going to sell a property and you do your home inspection, you find all this deferred maintenance. These are things that could be easily avoidable, and I think that's what your company does. It really kind of takes that out, and not to mention just the health benefits of these items. So let's kind of first dive into Kura Home. First of all, Kura, is that like, how'd you come up with the name? Is that like Kura, like curing all the defects, or what was the concept behind the name?
Yeah, for sure. I didn't want to call it Daniel's Home Maintenance. Thought that was kind of weird. I didn't want to call it Felt's Home Maintenance either. That's really strange. And so I was actually looking for words that meant to care for. And if you would spell it Cura, that's Italian, and it means to care for. But there was several companies that had already thought of that and taken that. And so I changed that to Kura, and we say that means to care for. And when people ask, how do you pronounce it? I say the same way that if you're going to say, I'm going to cure a disease, it's Kura Home. So it's kind of a two-factor thing there.
Very cool. So let's cover okay, so I think you grew up, you helped your parents build their farmhouse, like you were kind of hands-on. And then when did this come to you? At what point did this come to you? Like, listen, like there's nobody that does like these services, and it's like a pain in the rear end to find a company. And then that's how this was born. And come and walk me through that process.
Yeah, grew up, my family was entrepreneurial. I have 5 siblings. My parents, they by mistake fell into a business breeding golden retriever puppies. Today, they're really, really successful, sell really nice high-end dogs, and mix that with, like you said, help my parents build their dream home. Did everything from skipping school to pour the foundation, putting the last shingle on, and everything in between. And I was working after college for actually my brother's company. They do home services like window cleaning, holiday lights, more one-time things. And this concept came up, and they were actually, my brother and a business partner were trying to do property management for high-end homes. And I'm talking like the 1% of the 1%. And the largest frustration was that they didn't have very many clients. They were servicing like 2 at the time. But this was expensive, like $1,500, $2,000 a month. But they would do everything for your house. So my recommendation was, why don't you do less and do what people actually need done in their home? So come in and take care of all these essentials that you've discussed. And they said, that's not our business model. We don't think it would work. So with the confidence of growing up and seeing the entrepreneurial, my family surviving on that and thriving, I decided, hey, this is a risk I'm willing to take, and started offering Kura Home services.
So you do can you walk me through like your packages, like what you do? I know you're doing air duct cleaning, which is often overlooked. Most people never clean their ducts, and like I've seen videos of just huge amount of junk getting pulled out, and then we're breathing that. What other services do you incorporate in in your product offering?
Yeah, it's kind of broken up into two different things. You've got the home maintenance side, and what we do for that, Beau, is we'll come in and we do a walkthrough in your home, and we show you everything that we would do if we were living in your home. So we check out your kitchen, your laundry room, and your utility room. There's about 32 services, from providing all the filters, cleaning filters, changing filters. That's a huge part of what we do. But then like the refrigerator coils, smoke alarm batteries, cleaning the dryer vent, cleaning the AC unit. So think of it almost as everything that a janitor would do if they came to your house, or if your father-in-law flew into town a day early and had to kill some time, what would he do at your house? So it's essentially those 32 services, and it's all a la carte options. So we have a price and package for everyone, from a very simplistic, like townhome, for example, are very simplistic when it comes to maintenance. And we have $12 million estates that we can maintain, and everything in between. And we have a price for everyone. So that's the primarily quarterly service that we visit. Air duct cleaning came to because we had enough people, because we offer dryer vent cleaning, they were asking us to clean air ducts. And what we found is that because we're such a niche business on the routine maintenance side, people don't even know about it. People are not Googling it. However, with the air duct cleaning, to your point, you get a new furnace put in and they see that your air ducts are filthy. Now that's triggering you to get your air ducts cleaned. You want to improve your air quality. So a lot of people, they sign up for the routine maintenance package, and then they get the air ducts cleaned as well. So it's like you feel like you're really fresh, the same way as if you like brought your car, got an oil change, and they detailed it. It was like, okay, this thing's good to go. I feel really good. Nice to be in here.
I was just telling you, I got my HVAC replaced. I live in Las Vegas, so it's hot here. So I have two furnaces and two compressors. But it's interesting because like you would think these HVAC companies would actually offer like duct cleaning, because we didn't replace the ducts, and like they don't. And I kind of think they're missing the boat, because I think that's important. I was kind of taken back that I just spent 16 grand on these units, and like you're not even going to clean my ducts. Like that's like and so anyways, that just kind of ticked me off a little bit, but they don't do it. And so anyways, that's why we're here. We have you on the show, because this is often overlooked. And so, all right, so let's fast forward. So you started your first store. Let's call it a store or a unit, whatever you want. In franchising, they say unit, but we'll call it a store. And it's been successful, obviously. And you said, now we have demand in multiple markets. So now, you then basically over time developed a franchise model. And what does that look like today? When did you franchise, and where you're at today, and when are we going to go national with this?
Yeah, for sure. So, well, hopefully we're going national soon. I'll give you like the real quick snippet. Started in 2016, got a part-time employee in 2017, started running then 2 crews in 2018, 4 crews 2019. We had 10 crews running by the end of 2020. And we, at that time, expanded to Denver. We expanded Denver because it's a really similar market to Minneapolis, and the demand was there, really fast growing. So we did that. And then in 2021, we launched Dallas and Atlanta as well. And just based on the demographics there, we launched those locations. What we found is that it's better for us, rather than being corporate owned, we need to have someone who has skin in the game, boots on the ground, and they want the business to grow. And so that's why we've actually switched over to the franchise model. And we've also, just because of people hearing about our company, like we have people reaching out from Florida because we service their sister-in-law here in Minneapolis. And people are reaching out asking us, will you train me on how to do this? Or can I buy your service model? And so to meet that demand, we felt the franchise was the best way to do that.
Great. Well, our show is really about real estate investing and business ownership and entrepreneurship. So it's great we're talking about franchising. So what would an ideal candidate, a potential franchisee look like for you? Their skill sets. What are you looking for in a franchisee?
Yeah, skill set wise, you don't need to know anything. You could have worked at a desk for your entire work career, never had a hammer. In fact, our vehicles don't have a hammer in them. We're not a handyman company. We're a routine maintenance company. Because I come from a background of so many systems and processes, and we've opened these other locations, we have everything in place to train people very, very quickly. When our guys come here and they train, come from Denver, for example, train here for 2 weeks, their first job, you're getting a 5-star review. So they're ready to go very quickly. You don't need to know how to, tune up a HVAC system or anything like that. It's all very simplistic items that we have systems and processes to train you in on. So skill wise, it's almost better if you don't know what's going on. So you can come in with a fresh, here's the right way to do it. We do thousands of these a year. Here's the best way to do it. Perfect. Personality or career wise, it's someone who a lot of people that right now that are contacting us to purchase a franchise are people that you've worked in the corporate world for a certain amount of time, and they're just burnt out. It's people that are seeing the long-term advantages to owning their own business, especially the reoccurring revenue model. They're looking at, hey, 10 years down the road, if I sell this, there's going to be a value there rather than just coming and working 8 to 5 every single day. And age-wise or demographics, we're kind of all over the place. We have people that are really young, but our average person right now that we're working with is between about 30 and 50. And they're definitely thinking about, what is my retirement going to look like, in 15, 20 years.
Perfect. And so how many employees would you need to kick off this business model? So let's just take myself, and let's just say Las Vegas market was open, and I wanted to open a franchise here. You guys vetted me, I vetted you, went through all the validation, I checked with other, and now it's like, this is a good business. Okay, I'm not the one that wants to get my hands dirty, but I'm looking at this for a business. I can run simple systems that have already outlined for me through the franchise concept, right? That's the beauty of owning franchises, is that there's a roadmap and a template. You just got to follow it. So what does it look like on the ramp up? Can I get like one technician to start and then just keep on stacking technicians essentially? And then if you can kind of break down like just a real broad range of, typically what it's going to cost me to get this into this franchise, from a dollar standpoint, is this like $100,000 or $200,000 venture, or what can I expect?
Yeah. So to get started, you'd want one employee who's willing to work part-time to full-time, and they can go out and do a job all on their own. You can also have 2-man crews, but 1-man crew is definitely just fine. And you can run this from your home, wherever you want. I run 4 locations across the country, and I've never even been to our Dallas location. I've done everything from here. So definitely possible. You want one part-time employee, and then you can definitely keep stacking. We, at one point in 2020, we were adding a van every week as we were ramping up very quickly. We did that all in June and July. Between June 1st and the end of July, I believe we purchased 5 vehicles and hired on. So once you get one person hired and trained in, it's very easy to start duplicating. And we would actually train that person in for you, so you don't have to worry about that. They come here, we'll train them in completely. Financially wise, it's $45,000 to buy in. And then to get a van equipped with everything that you need to do a routine maintenance and an air duct job, you need about $7,000 worth of equipment. And then you need a vehicle. So depending on what vehicle you want to buy and how you want to finance that, you're looking at roughly $65,000 to service your first job. And you got a van and equipment and all the skill set ready to go.
Got it. So 45,000 franchise fee, 7,000 for equipment, and then your van, and then the branding on the van, which is probably a couple grand to get it wrapped.
Yeah, we get vans wrapped in Minnesota for about $850, but that was a couple months ago. So now it's probably about $1,000-$1,200 with rate of inflation things.
So so $65,000, and you can finance 100% of the van. It's easy to finance vans. Yep. So it's really a low entry level. And then your one employee, you could have one employee, and then as you start getting more jobs, how many appointments do you try to get like one technician on per day?
That really depends, but typically they can do 2 to 5 jobs a day, depending on what they are. If you're doing an air duct job, you're looking at 2 to 3 air duct jobs in a day. Routine maintenance, you could do 4 or 5, no problem, very consistently. But there is asterisks in there, like if you have a 6,000 square foot house, that's going to take a guy all day long to get that done. But you could also do 3 2,000 square foot homes for air duct cleaning in a day.
And what about the estimating process? Like when you first, you're doing a free estimate you're going to walk the property. How do you have like a kind of a roadmap to just do estimates pretty quickly?
Yeah. So for air duct cleaning, we can quote you over the phone, no problem. Never have to come out there. It's a one visit. We go, we do the service, collect payment, leave. For the routine maintenance, we do like to be in person. We found that typically people understand the service better when you do a walkthrough. And so you go out there, you do it one time, you do that walkthrough, and now they're set up to every single visit. We're going to come back every 3 months. We still service customer number 1 from 2016. So that one walkthrough is really beneficial. So that the customer knows who you are, they know what to expect, and they're ready to sign up.
And what's usually like the average for like a normal 2,000 square foot house, like an annual or monthly kind of reoccurring fee for those type of clients?
Yep. Our average routine maintenance client that signed on in 2021 came in at about $325 per quarter. And that includes all materials, everything.
Okay, great. So it's easy to kind of model like how many clients you need, and then your retention rate. Obviously, if you do a good job and service them, what that's going to look like and how that can play out over the next year one, year two, year three, year four, year five, and
Correct.
then you have a reoccurring revenue system. So that's how. So really, that's pretty cool. And so the model then, the technicians would be the only W-2 employee you need beside yourself. And then you could start with relatively get one and then grow it. Now let's talk about this sounds like a great business model, and it's definitely needed. How do you kick off the marketing? What's the process for me to get my first customers?
You're listening to the Investor Financing Podcast. We'll be right back after this break.
Hi, this is Beau, host of the Investor Financing Podcast. I appreciate you checking out our channel. On this podcast, we talk about real estate, investing, financing, business lending, and acquiring and expanding your business. I'm sure you will find some videos here that will help you build your business empire. There's a lot to see. Take your time and make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks again.
How do you kick off the marketing? What's the process for me to get my first customers?
Yeah, for sure. We've worked really heavily with social media influencers. That's been the number one thing that's awesome for us. The nice thing about social media influencers compared to your typical marketing, where you need to hit someone on average 6 to 12 times before they sign up with you, it's actually the opposite with influencers. You blast once, and the first time that they post about you, you're getting the most amount of people contacting you. So we have a social media team on staff here. We're posting all over the place on all the things, from TikTok to Instagram, Facebook. And so we create a system for you, a launch of not only influencers going after you, but also social media things. And it's very, very quick. People respond to, especially the air duct cleaning bowl. You talked about the satisfaction of seeing all that junk coming on your air ducts. It's a very fast reaction to, I want to get this done, and I want to get done like this week. So it's very quickly to get people signed up. And then the routine maintenance it's a nice slow build over, it's kind of like building a snowball, right? You get it going and it just keeps on getting bigger and bigger.
And how do you do territories? I actually live in Henderson, borders Las Vegas. Do you do it by zip code and population count?
Yep, correct. Right now we're doing populations of 250,000, and we can outline that however you'd like. But yep, right now it's based off of 250,000 people, and then we're going to stretch that out either by landmarks like highways that are not going to be moving, or zip codes.
And then if somebody like myself wanted to cover, say, Henderson and Las Vegas, I could buy multiple units and just say, okay, this is all going to be me. I'm going to start here and kind of get first right of refusal on all these other.
That's exactly correct.
Okay, yep. That's great. And so what's your goal this year as far as unit count, and how are you I think you're doing what others aren't through social media, which is great, because a lot of people just don't understand the power of somebody recommending a service in front of thousands of people online. But what's the plan to grow this and so forth? I mean, it seems like quite the ideal structure. I mean, you can run the business from your house, very low startup costs and reoccurring revenue. I mean, even if you're not a handy person, you can go, and I could probably basically go to your live training I don't know how long is the training, by the way?
We recommend 10 to 14 days, depending on what level you're looking to have, if you have 2 people here or whatever, but 10 to 14 days, you're ready to service your first customer.
And then, do I get to, if I were to buy into the franchise, can I bring my employees or my new employees to come train?
Yes.
And then what about ongoing, as I'm growing, can I send them out? Is there additional fees for each training? Because if I grow to a 30-man staff eventually, or 30-person staff, I should say, men or women, but
yep.
What would that look like?
Yeah, we would for sure help you train on. You'll find that employee number 1 can really help train in number 2, right? But pretty soon you're going to need client care coordinators, office staff, and with that you can send them to our Minnesota location, and we'll train them in and help you out. in our FDD, we have some costs set up just to make sure that that's not like abused, where we're not training in like every single person that comes in for you. But I think it's really, really reasonable. At the end of the day, we're viewing this as a side-by-side relationship. We're walking together and we want you to be successful. It would just cover some of our basic costs. But yeah, client care coordinator, for example, the person answering the phone, we have a 60-page manual and we will help you out to make sure that you're running very, very efficiently as quickly as possible. And you're not having to like reinvent the wheel. We already know how to answer all the difficult questions, or, if someone says, that seems expensive. Well, we have an answer to that, all scripted and documented.
Is that something you could actually use, like a third-party answering service, if they trained that, instead of actually having you could have like not a W-2 employee, you could have a contractor, as long as, you could record and listen to their conversations and seeing that they're doing it as good or better job as somebody you'd hire as a W-2 employee?
Yeah, we have two options. One, you can actually pay us to do it. We'll answer the phones for you. We'll schedule people, or you could definitely use whatever software or program you wanted to, if you're wanting to keep that in-house. So you can do it. You can have someone, your next door neighbor, whoever, answer the phones, or someone that's out of the office, an answering service. That definitely would work as well.
So when you go to a new location where you don't have necessarily brand awareness, like Las Vegas, let's say, what's the marketing going to look like? Are you doing any outbound for the franchisee in the beginning, or is that kind of like, hey, when you look at the FDD, you're going to build in certain costs. This is what we want. This is the marketing we would suggest you go with. What would that look like?
Yep. Yeah. So we're going to spend about $3,500 in those first 30 days to get an initial boost out there for you. A lot of this is going to be on social media, because that's where people are most reactive for our type of service. So it's a $3,500 launch, and that's going to get you moving really quickly. You're going to be, we're going to start scheduling while you're here training. We're going to be advertising in your market for you and scheduling jobs with you on the phone. So you're going through this process together. So when you go back, and let's say it's a Monday morning, you've got your van and you've got all your equipment, and you're going to service your first customer.
What are you looking for? Like, let's say I'm now a new franchisee, and I need, my goal is not to actually be going to the properties and doing the work. What's the screening process look like? How do I find that person that's going to do a good job as, from a friendly standpoint, from a service standpoint, or a customer satisfaction standpoint? How do you screen these people? Do you have templated job ads that we could run and so forth on Indeed? And what would that look like?
Yeah, most definitely. We have very detailed job descriptions that are used to attract the right person. From there, we have scripts and questions that we want to be asking during the interview process, and we have documented answers that we're looking for, and also conversations that we want you to have during that interview process to make sure you're attracting the right person. However, what I found, Beau, is that a lot of people apply, they all come from very different areas. But when someone comes in, right, and it's their first day and they're learning about your culture, and they start seeing the way that you treat customers and the way that the staff are treated here and all those things that go into a company, they realize that, hey, these guys are doing something different here. And it's people's natural reaction. They want to fit in, right? They want to be part of the team. And so when you have that culture built and you say, this is the way we do things, 100% of the truth, 100% of the time, this is the way that we treat customers, they understand that when we go to a customer's house, our goal is to do one thing extra. Maybe that's sweep out the garage. We've carried in a Christmas tree for people, but we always do one thing extra. They start picking up on these cultural things that, sometimes we've given people second chances before. Maybe you have something in your history that, hey, you wish you wouldn't have done. We can give you a second chance, because when people come in, our culture is so strong. They see the value of that and they want to fit in.
Perfect. Well, this is really good. I mean, I think anybody out there that's looking for, a business, there's a lot of people right now with COVID and everything that, they don't want to go back to work to their corporate job. They're really looking for something entrepreneurial, or somebody in the military who's retiring. This is like a perfect business, really, because it's, like I said before, it's low startup. It's really, you can gradually grow it. Hopefully you can grow it quickly, because there's going to be such demand, and then and you can really, you don't need that much equipment. So when I get my next truck, so I got my first employee, and we're doing 2 to 5 jobs a day. Now the phone's ringing off the hook. I go employee number 2 or technician number 2, get another van. I could usually finance, if you have good credit, finance 100% of that, and then about another $6 or $7 grand to get that van set up, right, with all the parts and stuff you need. So really, it's kind of like a predictable system. And then so like ideally, what's the outlook like? Your first year in business, is it try to get 100 customers, or what would be like a good business? Would you say realistically, not too aggressive, like where somebody could probably grow this to in a year?
Yeah, I would say knowing what I know, if I was gonna come to Las Vegas, for example, and I would say if I was having a realistic expectation of what 1 year looks like from today, I would have 2 crews running full time, and they'd both be booked out about 4 to 5 days. And I'd be looking at purchasing my 3rd vehicle. I think it's very sustainable to keep the quality up in your business and add a new crew every 3 to 6 months. And that's, very, very realistic. So with that, because of the FDD, there's only so many things I'm legally allowed to say, but I can tell you that our average van does about $966 worth of work a day. So you can run the numbers that, hey, we want to have 2 crews running. They're booked out a few days and we're rocking and rolling.
Right. And guys, for anybody that doesn't know what an FDD is, it's a franchise disclosure document. And this is like all the legal jargon that you need, that you have to disclose. It's all law abiding stuff that you need. So when you're evaluating a franchise concept, you get a copy of this FDD, you sign a receipt that you get it, because you have a certain amount of days to review all this stuff before you can actually even purchase this franchise concept. So that's part of the franchise due diligence. The other thing you do is sometimes you can do a live virtual event with the team, or sometimes they do in-person events where you fly to the corporate office and you do like a due diligence day. And then oftentimes everybody does what they call validation, where you would call somebody else that's got a franchise within the concept and, hey, do you like it? What do you, and you ask a series of questions, and there's all information for you to understand the franchise process. That wasn't really the purpose of the show, but that's basically how it works. It's just a series of due diligence that you do, and there's people that can review your FDDs, and you can talk to your CPAs. There's people that specialize in these niches. So it's a very kind of simple concept. I mean, there's thousands of franchises out there, but most of them are. A lot of people want brick and mortar and heavy expenses like $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 startup costs. This is a business that's like kind of a no-brainer in my mind. Like if I were to buy into a franchise, it'd be something like this, because it's like, okay, it's very doable. It's not overwhelming, and you can systematically grow it. So it makes a lot of sense. Well, this has been great. I really enjoyed this whole conversation. Anybody interested, you can find out more. You can go to kurahome.com and you can learn about the business. And there's a bunch of YouTube videos I saw. I was researching some YouTube, and you do a good job of being out there in the social media too, so people get to know who you are. Because at the end of the day, people like to do business with people that they know, like, and trust, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what social media does too. So very good. Well, you're a pretty young guy. What do you do to sharpen your tool set? I mean, like, you seem like you're very entrepreneurial. Do you do a lot of reading? What's kind of been your personal development to get you where you're at today?
Yeah, for sure. I do. I love reading. Audiobooks is huge. This year, I'm striving to listen to 52 audiobooks. I'm 1 book behind, so I'm supposed to be one, but I'll catch up there. I go to the gym 5 days a week. I've got accountability people that meet me there. I work with a coach, business coach, that they kick my butt if I don't do what I say I'm going to do. And yeah, continuing, I surround myself with people that are brighter and smarter than I am. And I ask a lot of questions, and that's been really, really fun. And I also am very, very competitive. And so my brother's company is currently doing more than my company in sales. And so we're out there to beat him, so that maybe I can buy the next beer or dinner that we go out to.
Yeah, that's good. It's good to have a little bit of a family rivalry.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, it's very good. Well, anyways, guys, I hope you enjoy this show. Usually we're talking about other stuff like real estate investing and all that stuff. So we're trying to bring on more and more business opportunities, franchises, because there's a lot out there. And even a lot of my real estate people, they not only own real estate, they own businesses, right? And they understand, and they love the franchise concepts, because it's really not to say it's easy, because nothing in life is easy, but it's a roadmap and a kind of a plug and play. So I'm a huge fan of concepts. I mean, not every concept I love, but I actually feel very intrigued with this concept, because I think it makes sense, and I think I like the numbers and everything, and I like the reoccurring revenue of it. And I like it that it's not brick and mortar. You don't need a physical location. That's another beautiful thing about your business. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. This was a great episode. So let me know if you have any franchise questions. Put comments in below when this video goes live. And thanks, Danielle, for your time.
Thank you, Beau.